Welcome back, Cardfight Vanguard players. This is your host, Kyle D. from Ride My Avatar to bring you the winning image of a premium deck profile of Top Idol Riviere. We run 4 of her because she is your main grade 3. She is the ideal ride. She is everything in the deck revolves around her. She has a on-play skill Counterblast, discard a card, draw 2 cards, which is really solid. Next, though, she has a skill that after she attacks, if you have another one of her in hand, you can rewrite her as stand, but you have to just pitch 2 cards. That's not terrible for a restand and getting a secondary marker. Really good, really solid, and it is errata, so you can only do it once per turn because it has an innate clause. Next, we play the lovely sister, Spirited Star Twas. From hand, Counterblast, call this unit to rear, choose a card from your hand, and return it to your deck. If your Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, search your deck for a Top Idol Riviere, write it on your Vanguard as stand. If you wrote it on top of a grade 3, you get to stride. Really fantastic. Next is when it attacks, when your Vanguard that attacks is grade 4 and it's a Riviere, she gets to restand with a Soul Blast. She's very good for multi-attacking. Next is the one of the few flex spots we have, and this is what I say is ideal, but this is, as you can see, animated Rooting Morgan. She is in your hand. If your Vanguard is Top Idol Riviere, discard this card from your hand, draw a card, and put a Riviere put a card from your soul, drop zone, into your soul, and then you get to pretty much add that card back to hand. It's very good because if you're discarding your Rivieres and stuff like that, it keeps constantly giving you strike fodder. She's really solid and really good, but you can only use her once per turn. And you don't want to ride her, so that's why she's at minimal. Next is from Colorful Pastel Carl. She is a Soul Blast 2 when placed. Lets you search for the same grade 3 Vanguard that you have and add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and then you get to pretty much only do this once per turn. It's restricted. You can't do this multiple times, but it helps with the combos. So, next I play one Lieselot because it's Lieselot. Early rush game aggro is fantastic. And she is another flex spot, but I personally like her at this position. Just helps, especially on grade 1 rides. Next, grade 2 that we play at 4 is Maturity Talent Celine. She is hand, put this card into soul, choose a card from your hand, discard it. If your Vanguard is Mermaid Idol Riviere, you search your deck for up to 1 Super Idol Riviere, write this card on your Vanguard, and shuffle your deck. Really solid. But she has also a multi-attack skill, so when your Vanguard with Riviere in its card name attacks, you may return this unit from the field to your hand. If you do, call this unit immediately again. Really fantastic. It's a multi-attacker, similar to what Chwa is, but she helps with a secondary ride chain to get you up closer and ahead of your opponent. If you go second, she pretty much guarantees you going into the next grade 2. Next, we run Super Idol Riviere. She basically has a from hand ride her. If you do, you draw a card, but you also call to Mermaid Idol Riviere. She's really good, but you also, when this Vanguard with Riviere in its card name is placed, she gets to stand. She helps with the Riviere beginning standard kind of combo, but she restands, so it's quite fantastic how many multi-attacks this deck has. Next, I play Leftist Pier Evian. So when your Vanguard with Riviere is placed, she pretty much lets you countercharge after and draw a card. So by retiring herself, which isn't bad. That just helps a lot. We play her at 3. I play 1 Hanali because Hanali helps mitigate the multi-attack game that's like Golds have or any other deck that might come across. This is basically to make sure. This is Hardy Dancer Courage. She lets you basically get into Mermaid Isle Riviere if you didn't ride her. Then we run Mermaid Idle Riviere. She basically lets you draw by Soul Blasting. So it's quite good. She also searches for a Riviere, but if you Soul Blast Bermuda Triangle Cadet Riviere, she helps. Well, she will draw if you Soul Blast her. But otherwise, she's pretty decent. But she also has a 3k power boost. Then we run this. So enter symbol on Fira. So put this card into your soul. Choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you have a grade 0 Vanguard, search your deck for up to 1 Mermaid Isle Riviere, write it on your Vanguard, and shuffle your deck. She helps if you get grade stuck, really. All your Vanguards with Riviere in this card name gets. All of your rear guards cannot be chosen by the effects of your opponent's cards. She's great because she just has this skill to protect your stuff. It's really good. Ideally, that's what you want, to be able to protect your stuff. She's just there to fix issues. Next, we play 4 heal, 2 crit, a grand total of 6 crits, because ideally you want to pressure. This lets you draw, but then our PGs are draw PGs, and then we have 6 draws total, which is good. This is just for discard fodder and paying for the PG. But then we have the starter, which is the original starter, Bermunda Triangle Cadet Riviere. When a card named Top Idol Riviere rides this unit, she pretty much does what Mermaid Isle Riviere does by checking the top 7 cards, and she gets to add either this one or this one to your hand. But if you don't ride Riviere, she will come out of Soul, and this is where these guys come in to put her back into Soul to fix the ride chain. It really helps. So that's the grade main deck. So time to go on to the Stride deck for our winning image. So very shinies. So for G Guardians, I run a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each one is situational. This one lets you bounce one and then call down, and just helps gain. It's a G Guardian. This is counts your hand size. This one is bounce one, and then no, this one calls. This one bounces. This is dismal. This protects your rear guards. This is lets you draw a card, and this one's just an added draw a card bonus. That's good. Then our Mega-chan here. This is our Megiddo. She basically lets you stride. She kind of got rejected from G, so that's why she looks like a mermaid. So she kind of lets you multi-attack with your columns, and great because she's a game finisher now, because you can produce so many gift markers and put it on one and then just cycle through a bunch of attacks. This is your alternate strike costs one. It makes it so your opponent's hand goes down. It burns, basically. You can discard a card with all the drawing you can do in this deck. You can keep breaking your opponent's cards, and unless it's a PG, then you're pretty fine. This is for the unlock and for quad drive. Then we have our restander. She's there just to restand and have a bunch of power. It basically, that's what she does. She's Twa. So this just helps. Then we have Legendary Idol Riviere, which is your ride target when you do the Chua combo. Very helpful. Basically lets you just be able to gain power for every Riviere in your soul, and if GB3 gains power and crit. So then we have a multi-attacker option for Harmony. She's just really there just to look at the top and fill a board fill in some slots if you can. Next, I play Cho. So she's there just to be able to put cards back if you really had a bad hand before your grade 3, and just helps you fix your hand by drawing more cards with your drive checks. That is why I use her. She's very solid. Now, I want to go over some combos. So, if for some reason this happens, so ideally, what you want to do is, so if she's your starting Vanguard, then let's say you have her in hand, one of her, and her, and these are, let's say this is part of your starting hand, and anything else was completely random. So, okay. So, obviously you're not going to get hit on your first turn. So, what we're going to do is ride this. She comes out, and then her skill can activate. Choose a Riviere Cadet, put it into Soul, and then you get to search your deck for her. So you're gonna look for her. So now that you wrote her, so you're gonna take this one from hand, and you're gonna Soul Blast. And then you're going to look at the top cards of your deck. So it's going to be look at the top 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to look. Okay. This won't normally happen, but you'll grab the Riviere. Then what you can do is, since we already have a second Chua, well, you would have had another card, but second Chua, discard her, put her down, and, well, put her into Soul, and then you ride her. Now you're already up on your opponent because you're so much closer to grade 3, it's not even funny. So, now you would pass to your opponent, seeing as they're grade 1 and doesn't guarantee they're going to hit you. So, if they do, you take the damage. If not, they'll damage deny you. That's fine, too. So then you draw for your turn. Then you'll either ride her. Now, gaining imaginary gift. So, we'll say this is an imaginary gift. We're going to go first one. So, now, here comes some combos. So Counter Blast, call her, put one card at the bottom of your deck, shuffle your deck. Now you get to Stride, because you're going to be putting another Chua, Top Idol. Now Top Idol just wrote over itself, so now you gain another force marker. And with that, you get to Stride. Now, your opponent is pretty much on grade 1, and you are now striding on them. This is on par to the Izel combo, so now you get to swing in at your opponent and do a triple drive check. So, you would have swung with the rear guard being 22. Then you would have swung with the van. So crit, power, second check, third check. So not a terrible comeback hand. So with that, you now restand her in the middle of the combat. Just remember that. She has to be before the drive checks. Restand. So now you swing again, being 31, and then you pass it to your opponent. They're going to have to now kill this off and probably attempt to deal you a damage, letting you draw. So next, you stand and draw. So we can't really do much with this, but we could force a stride. So another stride option here is, since we have a bunch of triggers, we can do is call, call, call. So since we have that, we'll flip this up and put these three back. And then shuffle them. Well, is it shuffle or just put it at the bottom? Then you draw pretty much a new hand. So a little bit better, but then you get to do your drive checks. Then, see, we got a draw trigger, second check, heal trigger, third check. So with that, your hand's now a lot better in defensive wise. It's not very aggro, but it is pretty fine for what it needs to do. Then you can G Guardian, PG, whatever you need to, and then pretty much you would seal the game by this point, because they wouldn't have much resources after dealing with this, because this deck is so aggro and doesn't really need much else to really push itself. So please leave a comment, like, or subscribe if you liked what you've seen.